Laws of agency 18 total questions 4 missed. Valuation and market analysis 18 total questions 8 missed. Financing 20 total questions 8 missed. Transfer of property 13 total questions 3 missed. Practice of real estate and mandated disclosures 36 total questions 9 missed. Contracts 18 total questions 2 missed. Property ownership and land use controls and regulations missed 5 out 27. A and B take title together at the same time under the same deed, each owning one half of the real property. What form of co-ownership will law presume they have? Correct answer: tenancy in common. Rationality have joint with right of survivorship. Joint tenancy in common, all four unities must be present: possession, interest, time, and title. Right of survivorship also must apply. Estate by the interredes is a form of co-ownership between husband and wife with right of survivorship, but has been abolished in most states. Because the question did not specify whether A and B have the right of survivorship or not, the law presumes tenancy in common. Which of the following is not appurtenant to real property? Correct answer: outbuildings. Rationale: outbuildings do not automatically stay with the land. A deed of trust is a mortgage in some states, and is appurtenant to the ownership unless steps are taken to remove it from the title. Easements and mineral rights run with the land. Special restrictions to all properties within a subdivision would be found in. Correct answer: record of restrictions. Rationale: a mortgage contains only the terms between the bank and the borrower. The corporate minutes of developers are not public records. Subdivision records are not necessarily public records either, but the records of restrictions are found on the deeds to all properties within a subdivision and on the master plat record. Which of the following is considered real property? Correct answer: light fixtures. Rationale: light fixtures are considered part of the home and thus part of the real property. Tenants' fixtures are allowed to be removed by a tenant prior to the expiration of the lease. Implements are tenants' crops which the tenants are allowed to remove, and an area rug is not the same as tacked down wall-to-wall carpeting. Fixtures and showcases attached in a store that occupies rented space are considered. Correct answer: all of the above. Rationale: trade fixtures are fixtures that can be removed at any time and are considered personal property, or chattels, of the tenant. Laws of agency, missed 4 out of 18. In real estate transactions, a real estate salesperson has a direct fiduciary relationship to. Correct answer: the sponsoring broker. Rationale: while the salesperson has a fiduciary duty to the broker's client, direct fiduciary duty is owed to the sponsoring broker. A seller lists her house with Happy Days Realty. A buyer is shown the listing by an agent with Sell More Homes Realty. Who must the buyer's agent represent? Correct answer: Sell More Homes Realty. Rationale: an agent must first represent her broker, and on behalf of the broker be a good fiduciary to the broker's client. Which of the following is the best example of a general agent? Correct answer: a property manager. Rationale: a universal agent is one who may do anything for the principal, while a general agent may do anything in one specific area, like property management. A real estate agent is considered a special agent, having the authority to do only one thing for the principal, just like the person given the power of attorney to transfer an automobile. When counseling seller clients, an agent should do all of the following except. Correct answer: prepare a market analysis that shows a high price for the property, because one never can tell what a buyer might pay. Rationale: agents must be careful to study all factors influencing value. For some sellers, time on market is more critical than price. A market analysis should always reflect the most realistic situation. Valuation and market analysis missed 8 out of 18. What is market price? Correct answer: the price the property actually sold for. Rationale: market value is what the property is likely to bring. Insurance value deals with the cost of replacement. A 10-unit apartment building has a net income of $5,000 annually, per unit. If the purchasers wish a 10% return on their investment, how much should they be willing to pay for the property? Correct answer: $500,000. Rationale: $500,000. The value of the property equals net income / rate of return. Thus value equals $50,000. $5,000 per unit x 10 units, 0.10 equals $500,000. The subject property best describes. Correct answer: the property for which the value is sought. Rationale: the appraiser does not consider properties on the market. The subject is the property for which an opinion of value is sought, also called the base. When underwriting a loan application, a mortgage company is usually interested in which of these values? Correct answer: market value. Rationale: the mortgage company needs to establish market value, so it knows the LTV position it is in. The 3 most important aspects of a house are. Correct answer: location, location, location. Rationale: where the property is located alone can contribute value to the property regardless of size, style, or function. A home with a basement wall that is failing is best described as suffering. Correct answer: incurable physical deterioration. Rationale: major structural problems usually cannot be fixed at any cost that makes economic sense, hence this is incurable physical deterioration. For the income approach to appraisal, debt service refers to what? Correct answer: Mortgage payments rationale. Anything related to the financing of the investment is debt service and cannot be counted as an expense. Reproducing a structure best describes. Correct answer. Building an exact replica of the structure. Rationale. Building an exact replica means that the replica has the exact look and feel as the original structure. If a historical building were destroyed, the building would likely be reproduced. Financing missed 8 out of 20. The deed of trust is considered to be. Correct answer. Security for the debt. Rationale. The deed of trust allows the lender, in case of loan default, to order the trustee to sell the property. Thus, the deed of trust is security for the debt. You have written an offer in which the buyer asked the sellers to pay his half of the escrow fee and his 3 points. The sellers accepted $135,000 for the home and the buyer is going to put $40,000 down. How much will the buyer pay for his points? Correct answer. Nothing. Rationale. Read carefully. The sellers, not the buyer, are paying the points. Miss Kelly sold her property herself and has agreed to finance the property. According to Truth in Lending, Ms. Kelly must reveal. Correct answer. Nothing. Rationale. The seller in a purchase money mortgage is not bound by Truth in Lending laws, which require APR, finance fees, and discount points from lenders only. A viable alternative to foreclosure would be. Correct answer. A deed in lieu of foreclosure. Rationale. A deed in lieu of foreclosure is given by the homeowner to the bank in lieu of foreclosure. The attachment is filed with the sheriff's office to attach real estate prior to foreclosure. A writ of execution is filed with the sheriff, authorizing him to seize the property at the time of foreclosure. Lis pendens literally translated means lien or litigation pending, and is filed against the homeowner. John is a successful bidder at a sheriff's foreclosure sale. At the sale he receives a certificate of sale, but does not know what it means. John's lawyer explains. Correct answer. That he is entitled to a deed upon confirmation of sale by the court if the land is not redeemed by the original owner during the redemption period. Rationale. A certificate of sale is issued to a buyer at a judicial sale, foreclosure action, entitling the buyer to a confirmation of sale by the court if the land is not redeemed during the redemption period. The attorney's opinion of ownership is termed a certificate of title. A certificate of no defense is issued by a bank to state how much principal is still owed on a mortgage. It is not issued by an attorney, but as an estoppel certificate from the lender. Mortgages are recorded to. Correct answer. Create a valid lien. Rationale. A mortgage is not a lien until it has been recorded. It still may be binding between the bank and the purchaser, but it would not create a lien on the property. Therefore, subsequent purchasers could not be held to have knowledge of the mortgage. The Truth in Lending Act requires that the buyer be given a good faith estimate of the cost of interest, loan payments, etc., and does not require that the mortgage be recorded. The obligation or promise to be personally liable for conditions in another person's contract is known as. Correct answer. Assumption. Rationale. The giving of one person's rights under contract to another is assignment. The promise to be liable for another person's obligations under contract is assumption, that is loan assumption. The seller assigns the loan while the buyer assumes the loan. Disintermediation refers to. Correct answer. The movement of money out of a savings account into a higher yield investment such as a corporate or government instrument. Rationale. A deed of trust is an instrument used in many states in place of a mortgage. Dedication is the transfer of real property by a private owner to a public agency. Disintermediation is the movement of money out of a savings account into a higher yield investment such as corporate or government instruments. Transfer of property missed 3 out of 13. Who prepares the tax bill? Correct answer. The tax collector. Rationale. The tax bill, which assesses land and improvements separately but taxes them at one rate, is prepared by the tax collector. A couple is divorcing. The husband is ordered to convey his interest to the wife. When must she receive the transfer disclosure statement? Correct answer. It is not required. Rationale. A divorcing couple is an exception to the transfer disclosure law. What is the purpose of the assessment roll? Correct answer. To establish the tax base. Rationale. County tax assessors assess the value of all taxable property in the county every year. The annual assessments are then published in the assessment roll. Its purpose is to establish the tax base. Practice of real estate and mandated disclosures miss 9 out of 36. How much can be paid on behalf of the licensee out of the Real Estate Recovery Fund per licensee? Correct answer. $250,000. Rationale. Although the fund can only pay $50,000 per transaction, it can pay up to $250,000 per licensee. Alfred and Allie buy a 10-year-old home and have it tested for radon prior to closing. The test results in an average reading of 4.8 p.l. Under federal law, is the seller required to mitigate the home? Correct answer. No, unless agreed upon in the contract between buyer and seller. Rationale. There is no federal law regarding radon mitigation. The federal government recommends mitigation on houses that test 4.0 p.l. or higher. However, the buyer and seller, in their contract, could agree to whatever guideline they wish. During the sale of the property, who would an agent and client negotiate with? Correct answer. Customers. Rationale. The broker and the principal negotiate with third parties, also known as customers. All of the following people need a license to practice real estate except. Correct answer. Any trustee selling under a deed of trust rationale. As a rule, any negotiating or soliciting for a fee requires a license. A real estate broker presented an offer to a seller from a financially qualified buyer. Unbeknown to the seller, the buyer is the broker's sibling. This fact was not discovered until a week before closing. What option exists to the seller? Correct answer: cancel the transaction with no liability to the broker. Rationale: the broker must disclose the material relationship between himself, herself and the sibling. If not, the seller can cancel the transaction and not owe the broker any commission. Any employee who is authorized by broker to make withdrawals from the trust account must be. Correct answer: fidelity bonded. Rationale: any employee who is authorized by a broker to make withdrawals from the trust account must be fidelity bonded in order to make withdrawals. The laws that affect the licensing and conduct of real estate agents are called. Correct answer: real estate law. Rationale: real property law deals with land and its ownership. Real estate law deals with agents and their conduct. How long does a landlord have to return the unused portion of a tenant's security deposit? Correct answer: 21 days. Rationale: a landlord must return the unused portion of a security deposit within 21 days of termination. Which of the following is a violation of the California Code of Ethics and Professional Conduct? Correct answer: telling a seller her home is worth more than it is, in order to get the listing. Rationale: the Code of Ethics and Professional Conduct prohibits agents from telling sellers their homes are worth more to get the listing, or telling buyers a home is worth less, to induce them to make an offer. Contracts miss 2 out of 18. What would automatically terminate an offer? Correct answer: counteroffer. Rationale: a counteroffer automatically terminates the original offer and creates a new offer. Seller: Joe's agent personally delivered Mary's offer to buy Joe's house. Joe said he would like to think about it for a couple of days. Later that week, without making a single change in the contract, Joe decided to accept Mary's offer and signed it. Then he addressed it to Mary and went to the post office and mailed it. Is the contract binding on both parties? Correct answer: yes, because Joe sent it to Mary in the mail. Rationale: the mailbox rule says that when an acceptance isn't communicated directly, either in person or over the telephone, it's effective as soon as it is placed in the U.S. mail to the offeror, even though the offeror hasn't received it yet. The mailbox rule applies only to acceptances, not to revocations. Revocations are not effective until they are actually received by the offeree.